just getting started here. I just finished the Dragon Rising quest off stream. I figured no one really wanted to see that. And crafted some new armor from the Tera collection. Just trying stuff out. It's a little more limited than the Black Dog collection for Pyrokess that I have. And that's a replacer. You know, the Tera collection is more of an addition, but yeah, it doesn't have physics on it, so it can maybe look a little more old-fashioned in some ways. This is a new follower from a mod I picked up recently called Tao of the Deadlands. It's kind of styled after Dremora types. It's got her own custom armor, custom weapon, stuff like that. And using amazing follower tweaks and all that, so I can, I guess, you know, control stuff that way. She's a little higher level than I am just because of minimum level requirements for the mod. Like, the weird thing is, it was done more for flavor, because the mod creator wanted her to be like the minimum level of a Dremora caitiff, I believe. That's why I gave her a gimpy weapon. She's using a woodcutter's axe right now because I didn't want to give her a real weapon yet, because she'd be too overpowered compared to my level. Let's see. But basically, I completed the Dragon Rising quest and then came right here in order to pick her up and get her settings correct and advanced follower tweaks and all that. I think you can actually, like, she doesn't have any default magic, like the modder didn't give her any magic, but I think it's possible to maybe add a spell that you know. I wonder if I should get an actual weapon out for this. I also have some new spells I was trying out. I got Viper Bolt. I think that one's from Apocalypse Magic or one of the other Odin Magic. Using Apocalypse, Odin Magic, stuff like that from EnaiSaion. And also having the Valkyrie perk overall. And appropriate compatibility patches for Apocalypse and Odin Magic, plus Summer Mist enchantments. Let's see. But yeah, I got Lesser Ward. I got Slowfall. I'm not planning on being like big into alteration necessarily. I mean, this is a barbarian character, so not a big spellcaster, but I was just trying out different things. I got Lamb of Mara, and I got Conjure Avenging Wraith, which is a novice conjuration thing. It's got a ranged attack, it's not very strong, so I figured I don't always like messing with bows myself, despite the fact that I am playing a melee. Alright, feels like my two-hander's kind of overkill. I've been kind of messing with unarmed combat. I have a big arrow sticking out of my back. I like some of those finishing moves from unarmed combat.
I kill. Sometimes she doesn't even have to say it.
She's got custom voices. She does kind of chatter a lot. No, I actually turned off idle chatter. I wonder if I should give her an iron dagger. Probably not. I think the woodcutter's axe kind of does the job well enough. And she has a hunting bow in her backpack if I want to give her that too, but currently I just have her using that axe.
Sometimes when you skin a skeever,
Boardstone.
he has a more aggressive mate.
What does that one do? I'm using the Simon Magus Mundus Stone mod also. I'm just kind of mentioning what mods I'm using as I go. I also listed off what I could remember in the description of my first session of this that I uploaded to YouTube after doing the Twitch stream. So that's got a list of a lot of the mods I'm using, but not all of them. I also added some quest mods, part of a quest line or mod line. It's called For Good Guys, basically, even though my character's not necessarily, not a guy, not good. But that's just what the mods are called. And I feel like it provides more opportunities for maybe a quest line to make more sense for different types of characters, even if you're not as goody-goody necessarily as it was intended for. See, this Lord thing is tempting. Resist magic damage and regenerate health more quickly. Although I've got the Lady's Grace thing right now, which means you regenerate everything more quickly. So I might stick with that. It's from the Lady's Stone. Then I've got some passives from the Lara's Simple Classes mod. I chose the Barbarian one. So, fortifies two-handed XP, gives you Savage Slings, gives you some bonus stamina. I'm still kind of testing things out. Critical hit chance is increased by a pretty large amount. So you get a lot of critical hits as a Barbarian with that mod, but I can't tell if it's really overpowered or not. And then I've got the Morning Star passives for races. So I've got a Command Animal ability for Bosmer, and then some resistance to poison and disease, because they focus more on passives and less on active powers. But
Some
yeah,
kills
that's
are
what
for
I'm
fun,
using for
some
that.
for profit, and others are for sending messages.
Do a quick save here. Yeah, I'm planning on embarking on some of those For Good Guys quests. They include the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood quest lines in terms of the whole For Good Guys thing.
Go kill a vigilant of Stendar.
Right now I'm just trying to get back to where I was. I just came out here in order to get Dow of the Deadlands. I'm also using like a ring shield mod.
Do you need something?
So that's one thing I can do is I can give her a ring shield, where it doesn't look like you have a shield, but it counts as one. I have one that's light armor and one that's heavy armor, so I could give her the one that's heavy armor. I was actually saving it for her. They have enchanted versions of them, but I didn't want to like pick them up and have it be OP. I don't actually use it much. It's just normally I don't use shielding stuff, like even that. And I've got the Wearable Lantern mod, and then the Sea Rover boots and cuirass are from the Tera armor collection. It's kind of equivalent to Elven stuff in that case. I kind of had to dredge up some ingredients in order to make it, including hag raven feathers. I had to buy them from alchemists. But just wanted to try it on. Downside is no physics enabled. And it also changes my body shape slightly, because it's intended for the Seraphim body, which is actually no longer available on Bethesda.net. Although I guess the body I'm using now is probably the closest thing to Seraphim that's currently available. It's called Pyrokess. It came out a while ago. I think it was last updated in 2022 as far as like the body, and it also has the Black Dog's armor replacer for Pyrokess. In fact, I think it's the only one of that type left on Bethnet also. Something I commented on in the previous session of this. Let's see, maybe I'll choose Stamina now. I've been buffing my health. I also have a Blessing of RK going, so that's one of the reasons why it appears more. Get another perk point. I'm using a Valkyrie perk overall. Forget what I was gonna get next. Could get another smithing perk at some point soon. I might want to wait until I hit light armor 30, then I can get light armor fit. Get a little better armor rating there. Maybe I'll sit on that perk point then until that time. I just backtrack the way I came.
It's always best to deal with a problem by ripping it out of the root. Sort of confused about which way I came. We'll see what's up this way. Or, oh, I think I was just up here. I think that's where the shrine was that I got the follower from. I guess there's a dragon place over there. A little hazy on how to get to it exactly. Hopefully I'm not going to fall to my death here. Uh-oh. Doesn't want me going up. Well, maybe I can just kind of go downhill here then. I guess the dragon will have to wait. Couldn't quite get up there. Also got the carriage stops of Skyrim, so that's what some of those icons are for. The shield icon is often for a carriage stop. That's what that mod uses. Stone Hills carriage stop. So this could get us back to wherever it is I feel like going. And also with the advanced follower tweaks, there is the option of giving Tao of the Deadlands a spell, like a tweak spell. I forget how that works. Something? But it's somewhere under tweak options and magic, I suppose. So you can... Yeah, I think you can set tweak spells, view them, view standard spells, teach follower equip spells, unteach follower equip spells, reset standard spells, enable magic use. She's not really a magic user by default, but... And I guess when you hit view tweak spells, it has like an explanation for them. Tweak spells are not added to your follower's spell list. It says if your follower knows any spells and has enough magic to cast them, will fight like a mage and keep a distance from enemies, but tweak spells are
different. So you can use tweak spells to create a follower that casts a spell or two when combat begins and then runs into the thick of battle. Followers must still have enough magicka to cast the spells. Okay. Well, that seems like a cool option. And I'm guessing the 50, it says total NPC 50, cost 0, difference 50. So I'm guessing that means she has 50 magicka to play with. Yeah, she doesn't start with much because she's not a caster. But yeah, you could give her like a smaller spell. Can you set it at anything, or does it have to be unsupported? Okay. I think you have to have a spell equipped. I don't actually know very many spells. And you can also view, like, you can see where, yeah, it says magicka 50 out of 50. Because, yeah, she doesn't really know any spells, and she's got, I think the modder mentioned she has racial defaults for Dark Elf. She counts as a Dark Elf, even though she's really not a Dark Elf, but she's like part Dark Elf, part Drummer, is the lore or background of the character. So they're best at destruction, but she just has the default Dark Elf casting abilities. I do have like a restoration attack spell that could be used. Or I could even ever use the conjuration, but I could ever use flames also, but I don't really like that. Slowfall's not going to help. But yeah, I could teach her something like, I don't think Lesser Ward would be particularly effective, unless the NPCs know when to use it. But otherwise, she has just enough power to cast a Viper Bolt and then run into combat. So that's something I could have her do. And I guess another thing you can do is try to teach her like regular spells instead of tweak spells and add them to her list. But for now I could try teaching her Viper Bolt as a tweak spell. Something like that. So if I equip it, then I guess maybe I can teach it. I haven't really messed with this part of advanced follower tweaks before, or not. I think it's called amazing follower tweaks, not advanced. Well, this part is a little advanced. So let's see if this works. Oh. Spell in the player's left hand is unrecognized. Do you wish to continue? No. Alright, maybe not. I don't know if it's not like a vanilla. I wonder if it's like vanilla spells only, that sort of thing. Also, it wasn't in my left hand, it was in my right hand, so I wonder if that's part of a problem. Could try teaching her a vanilla spell or something. And maybe not as a tweak spell. Like, I guess it's the vanilla spells that I could teach as like part of her, maybe add to her regular list would be Lesser Ward or Healing. Yeah, I could do one of those. Or both, I guess.
Yeah, I could try equipping. It seems to recognize stuff in the left hand first. I don't know. I'm just messing with this, seeing like if I can teach her any magic. But let's see. Follower knows any spells, has enough magicka. Fight like a mage and keep their distance. If you want a more aggressive spell sword, consider using tweak spells. But this shouldn't really affect her aggression. But it says currently doesn't have any. Alright, I'll try teaching her that the lesser ward. It says to set or teach a spell, simply ready the spell before talking to the follower. If you have more than one spell equipped, both spells will be taught to the follower. Alright, well, I've got Lesser Ward readied in my left hand, so let's see if that works. Yeah, it says added Ward Lesser to follower known spells. Okay, and then you can do things like unteach equipped spells or reset standard spells. But yeah, I figure I'll do those as like standard spells that I teach her. And I'm guessing it doesn't play well with spells that you gain from mods, so I'll try to maybe restrict it to some of the simple stuff. I could teach her healing in addition to lesser wards, so maybe she'll be better at like, defending.
Speak, mortal.
And I could teach her an attack spell later if I get like a vanilla ranged attack spell or something. I don't want to try and turn her into a mage. She's not really a mage, but just figure she doesn't have much magicka to play around with, so she'll just like do a brief defensive spell thing and then go back to fighting physically. Alright, so now she knows healing and lesser ward. I don't know what the 216 is in aid of. Yeah, I don't. If that's magicka, she's not going to be able to use it. It doesn't cost that much, but I don't know. It's one of those ongoing cost things. But I don't know why it would say 216. Maybe it's a code. But at least it seems to have gotten the healing thing right. But we'll see if she actually uses that stuff. And you can also unteach or reset. So we'll experiment with that. I might give her a tweak spell. If I find like an attack spell I want it set as a tweak spell. But I think the defensive spells are better off being like normal. Alright, if we took a carriage, I'm not actually sure where I would take a carriage to. I'm supposed to go talk to the Greybeards, but I'm not really powerful enough to do that yet. So I would probably die on the way up. But I could go back to Whiterun and then kind of set out from there. That's where I took a carriage from. So maybe I can do this. Cost is 20 to 40 septims. Okay, apparently random. Seems to charge you 40 more often than 20. But yeah, I could take a carriage back to Whiterun. Voila, sudden change in weather. And yeah, we'll see what Dow ends up
doing with those spells in combat. And if I run across any other spells that I want to teach her, either as a regular spell or its weak spell, and we can just kind of go on foot from here and make our way, at least in the direction of like Rifted and Ivarstead, but not necessarily going straight to Ivarstead. I wonder if I should stop in at Whiterun for anything, or not so much. I'm not. Maybe I'll pop in, and I'm not sure if I want to craft anything else. I kind of used most of the ingredients I had in order to make this Tera collection armor, cuirass, and boots. It's like equivalent to Elven, so it wasn't that easy to make. I had to use like linen wraps and steel ingots, and then a couple hagraven feathers. And in addition to the usual leather materials and whatnot. Some of the animations you're seeing are from Animations Bundle mod called Gritty Animations Requiem 2.0, I think. And some of those characters are from the Immersive Wenches mod. These are travelers.
Need something?
Oh, merchant wench.
Hi there.
It's kind of cool. They're traveling merchants. They might have some spells too. Although I already spent a bunch of gold on the several spells that I purchased from Farengar, the court wizard or sorcerer. Wow, that's probably a pretty advanced spell there, considering it costs over 1,000. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what I'm looking for. And I guess first, if I'm looking for something I wanted to teach to Tao of the Deadlands, it would probably have to be a vanilla spell, otherwise the amazing follower tweaks thing might not recognize it. And they said something about, I don't know, it seemed kind of threatening about like potentially causing save game corruption or things. Like, that's not something I want to deal with. So I might have to avoid the mod spells for her. Could try to give her healing hands, but I don't know if that would work. Just keep in mind she does not have very much magicka. Yeah, I mean, most of these are probably not vanilla spells. Yeah, there's a few that are, but there's a lot that aren't. But anyway, I taught her a basic healing spell and then a lesser ward spell. I don't know if she'll be able to use them both, but we'll see. Other than that, not really sure what I would be able to really teach her. Probably wouldn't be able to cast Ice Spike. could do Frostbite. Or I have flames, I could teach her that, but yeah. Could teach her Conjure Familiar. I guess that's a vanilla conjuration. Same with Flame Atronach, only she probably wouldn't be able to cast that. But I think for now, I won't necessarily teach her anything, and I don't have much money left for spells, honestly. I spent like 1,000 or close to it. Can get some iron ore. I use the smithing oils model, so I kind of run through a lot of like ores and stuff. Could get some silver ore. I'm not sure what I would use it for, but eventually I might be able to, make some armor that uses it, or a weapon. Maybe use the silver. Some of the Tera armor stuff is part of the level list because there's an additional mod for it that adds some of the armors to the level list. So you see it in some merchants' inventories. But yeah, I don't have a lot of money to throw around. Alright.
All right.
Maybe not.
What can I do for you?
I'm not sure why they're just hanging out at the gate. Maybe they'll eventually go somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember. Wonder if there's any quest I can pick up
When
here.
the prey is riled, it makes things fun.
Need something?
You tried mercenary work? It might suit you. Sometimes I miss the soldier's life, but when I hold my daughter in my arms, I know I made the right choice.
I guess this must be to ask him about, like, I think he was arguing with his wife earlier. And he can also train in one-handers.
My Sapphire doesn't like that I've been spending so much time looking for my father's old sword. He fed his entire family with the gold he made using that weapon. I'm not about to let it gather dust in some thief's trophy room.
Well, sounds like a quest.
I tracked it to a group of bandits nearby, but I'm no fool. I'd need the Whiterun guards or maybe hire the companions to get it. I don't know why I'm saying this, but if you find it out in your travels, I'd be grateful to you.
Alright, so let's find Amren's family sword inside Whiterun's retreat. Alright.
If you find that sword, please bring it to me.
You should try the venison. It's delicious.
Yeah, really. Oops.
I spend a lot of time at the...
It's under miscellaneous. So where's this Whiterun's retreat? I guess he did say it was in the area, so it's not hugely far away. So maybe that could be a first quest following our defeating our first dragon.
stall so I
Becoming
can learn
a
the merchant's
Thane
trade.
of Whiterun
More
like
experience if I'm
everybody
going
else.
to run an inn someday.
Okay,
The finest cuts, fresh from the wilds.
so we've got ourselves a quest.
Dragonborn, it is my honor to stand before you.
There's a nip in the air. Cold won't be good for my crops. Never is.
Need something?
Some kills are for fun, some for profit, and others are for sending messages.
Yes.
Yeah, the merchant wench and her brigade are still kind of standing there. Hopefully they're not, like, glitched or something. They'll probably move along eventually. Used to have a different version of the mod. It seemed to work better, and it didn't take up as much space, but I think it got removed from BestNet, so I'm just left with the current version, which is like a questless version that for some reason takes up twice as much space as the other version I had. But go figure. Hopefully they're not too glitchy. So where are we going? That way. Past the Western Watchtower.
Feed when hungry, sleep when tired, and kill.
Just kind of lagging behind. Got some hide bracers of bashing as a reward from the Jarl. Not very good armor, but they have that enchantment.
Why'd you join up with the Legion? My father was a legionnaire, and his before him. I guess I never considered doing anything else.
And then, I guess one interesting feature of that Tera armor collection is it comes with invisible helmets. Before that I was using the BIG helmetless mod for things. Only I found out later it was kind of resetting some stuff from Valkyrie's perk overhaul. So some stuff was changing back to vanilla when it should have been something different as part of the Valkyrie perks. So it kind of messed some of my earlier perks from the overhaul up. So I stopped using that, and later on in Valkyrie you do get a mod called, I think for light armor it's called Keen Senses at like level 40 light armor skill. So I think at that point it'll be the equivalent of the helmetless mod. But for now, I'm using the option to have an invisible helmet from the Tera armor collection. It's kind of a nice feature. Do a quick save, I guess. Apparently the entrance to the place we want is around here.
Bandits.
I suppose so, yes. Do you want to just charge right in? I guess I haven't been particularly stealthy or anything.
I'm a barbarian. I was thinking about maybe trying out one of those other classes from the Lara's Simple Classes mod. But I haven't really had the time or inclination to do so. I was just kind of testing things out, making sure my current setup works
Kill their
with
leaders.
my current character.
That should slow them down.
Excellent strategy, Dao. I believe I shall.
Huh?
Oops. I forgot I had that healing spell equipped after teaching it to Dao.
I knew it!
Like, I knew you were there.
Good job.
I do tend to get a lot of critical strikes as a member of the barbarian class, thanks to that savage swings thing. So I'm still testing it out to see, like, do I feel like it's OP? There's one of the Tera armors now. It's not worth very much, so maybe I will leave it. But it's kind of nice for variety, like sometimes you'll see an NPC that's using it. Can you do anything with sacks of flour? I don't know. Can unlock a chest. Well, at least that one was easy. Keep an eye out for traps and such. Yeah, supposedly they stole Amren's sword.
Bandits. Not a serious threat, but we can't leave them completely unchecked, or they may become one.
Yeah, makes sense.
What was that?
Uh-oh, it's a bandit chief. Let's see, might be a good time for me to get my actual two-hander out. I try to leave that for the major threats, because it's kind of overkill for some stuff. And since my character's simple class of barbarian grants like bonus XP in it, I don't actually need it to use it often. Well, that didn't work very well, did it?
That's all you got?
Good job.
Dang. Just ragdolled her. Oh, I should probably heal myself. I didn't notice if Dao used either of the defensive spells I taught her. Huh. This is an orcish sword. Yeah, it's one of those Tera armor things too. 'Cause that one's worth a decent amount. So it says the helmet. Not so much the boots. I guess the banded iron shield is worth a decent price. And steel warhammer. I can't carry too much more stuff, but I can do that. Nice little setup they got here. Cute attempt at a trap. The spell I was trying to cast was Lamb of Mara, but it didn't target correctly, and then I didn't have enough magic to cast it again. So a lot of combat in Skyrim ends up with me like fumbling with things a bit. But I'm getting the hang of it. Don't really know where that is offhand. Looks like a location with a tower near it. And what does that say? WR up on the top there. I don't know. I can see if it rings a bell later. Looks like sort of dusk turn armor there. I don't think it's as good as some of the stuff I have. But I could try it on sometime. Looks like it's a full set. And there's an orcish dagger and the Amren family sword. Which doesn't look like much, but sentimental value perhaps. Yeah, I'll leave the dagger. Yeah, at least I picked up some stuff I could sell, because I dropped like 1,000 on different enchanted things. Let's see what this hauberk looks like. It's not bad, steel armor type of thing. We'll leave Dal with the armor she's got. And then we'll try on this dusk turn stuff, or at least the parts of it that are visible. If we would like. That's what that looks like. Like I said, that's sized for the Seraphim body, not for Pyrokess, but Pyrokess is probably the closest thing to Seraphim that's currently available. It's for UNP. Yeah, looks like a decent beginning armor set, but I think it's the equivalent of hide armor, and stuff I'm using now is the equivalent of Elven, although I do like the design. Too many of those Tera collection things seem to have like little scarves or flaps hanging off of it, and they don't look right in motion because it doesn't have physics attached to it, so they're just kind of stiff as a board. So it doesn't work very well. Can't actually carry much more. I mean, I'm carrying like a bunch of extra equipment that I don't necessarily need, but I can also start loading stuff onto Dow. Not used to having a follower yet. Only just got her. Because it's a small enough place, it doesn't have one of those rear exits. Alright, so we just go back to Whiterun and return his family sword. First quest accomplished at that point. Not bad. Looks like light armor is still 29. I think one of the classes from Lara's simple classes does provide a like bonus XP for learning light armor. It's like the monk class or something. I was tempted by that. I am trying to be like partial monk with this character, even though it's a barbarian character. But they have a like an Iron Fist skill under light armor that I picked up. It's part of the Valkyrie perks.
I knew it! Good job.
I'm basically trying to use it against minor threats like the ever-present wolves that keep attacking. Wolves and skeevers, the occasional bandit. Cool, there's those merchant wenches.
Oh, did you need something?
Needs.
Yeah, maybe I could sell some of my stuff. Some of that loot. Let's see. Orcish sword. Steel warhammer. Banded iron shield. I don't like how easy it is to increase speech sometimes. It's one of those skills that just keeps going up regardless of you concentrating on it or not. It's not even worth selling the dusk turn stuff. Those aren't worth much of anything. Let's see, what else did I pick up? Oh yeah, the steel helmet. That's worth selling. I just try to sell like some of the higher value stuff and not really spam the lower value stuff at them. Then I could buy another spell if I wanted, but not sure if I will bother. But yeah, if I want to give my follower another spell at some point, that's an option. But for now, I taught her Lesser Ward and Healing, because it seems like the advanced follower tweaks doesn't really, or amazing follower tweaks doesn't really work very well for non-vanilla spells necessarily. Well, those people seemed kind of alarmed about the wolves in the area. Nothing was really attacking. Let's go and return to Amren's family sword to him. I've actually never done that quest before. I always kind of ignored him.
Go kill a vigilant of Stendar.
Yeah, it seems like Dow's not a big fan of the vigilance. I think in the mod description it lists that as like one of the ways you can impress her, and then you might get some like higher functions out of the follower. Like she'll teach you some skills or train you in something for free. That sort of thing. But I don't go around trying to impress people. It just happens naturally.
I spend a lot of time at the market stall so I can learn the merchant's trade. I need more experience if I'm going to run an inn someday.
You tried mercenary
well,
work?
here's the
Might
guy.
suit you. Sometimes I miss the soldier's life. You found it! I've been looking for that blade for months! You took on all those bandits yourself? Thank you. Here,
Well, me
my
and
father
Dow.
had a favorite sword and shield technique. Let me teach it to you, in honor of his memory.
Alrighty, seeing he increases your one-handed skill a bit. Oh, and block. Well, that could come in handy.
It's always best
One-handers aren't really my main
Drop a
weapon
sec.
skill, but I'm trying to maintain a decent level of skill. Because I just try to keep my two-handers for the significant threats. Alright, let me see. Currently, I think I have a blessing from RK. Yeah. And I don't need to wipe out any diseases. It's funny how ever-present that is in Skyrim.
You know
I
what's
always
wrong
gotta
with
check and
Skyrim
see,
these
did
days?
I pick up rock joint from any animals lately? Sometimes you miss the notification.
A body can rattle around confused long after its head's been severed.
Let's go say hi to
Welcome,
Bellathor real quick.
Bellathor's General Goods. Welcome indeed.
Good old Bellathor.
Everything's for sale, my friend. Take a look.
I don't think he has much in the way of spells. No, he's got like one spell book at the moment. I guess I try to buy iron ore when I can. Can buy some lockpicks too. Other than that, I don't know. Probably don't really need anything. I'm carrying around like multiple heavy weapons because I've got like, a couple options. I'm using the unique Thane weapons model, so it's a Blade of Whiterun becomes a specific item. It feels a little too powerful for me at my level. Though eventually, like at higher levels, that's not going to matter as much. But currently, like, it adds 15 points of fire damage to every hit, so it feels like kind of a lot at this stage. So, I don't think I would use it unless I was facing like a frost troll or something. Something along those lines. Yeah, I guess I can always have Dow carry some things. Followers make good pack mules with amazing follower
People have
tweaks.
forgotten humor, poetry, and romance.
I love a good sword fight as much as the next.
Alright, maybe that'll do it for now, for this episode of the adventure, and then I will, maybe I didn't accomplish a huge amount this time, but I feel like I
Got some
I
good
did a
pieces out
decent
here if you're
job.
looking to buy. More inside.
And then we got Amren's sword for him, and then we'll figure out where to go and what to do next time, like, as we go towards Ivarstead and the Greybeards. But we've been introduced to Dow of the Deadlands, and I've talked about some of the other mods I'm using. But yeah, I think for now I'll shut it down. I've been trying to keep it to about an hour per session, and if I don't see much activity on the Twitch stream portion of the video, then usually I do limit it to about an hour, whereas I'll go a little longer if there's like more attention being paid to
She
it
says
on
kill.
Twitch.
I kill.
Otherwise I just try to restrict it to that, and then I export to YouTube. That way I don't have like hideously long YouTube videos or anything. And so I think it all works out. So wrap it up, and then we'll catch you next time.